Welcome to Week 9 of our Emotional Literacy series. In this video, based on the work of Dr. John Michael Salvato, we will explore the connection between our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. How are these elements connected? Essentially, our thoughts create our feelings, and those feelings drive our behavior, forming an interconnected cycle. This provides us with a good jumping-off point for today's presentation, don't you think? Okay. Let's define our terms. Thoughts are ideas or opinions in our mind. It's helpful to remember that our thoughts are usually filtered through the lens of our past experiences, beliefs, and fears. So they may not always be facts. Feelings are emotional states or reactions, like joy, sadness, or fear. Behaviors are the ways we act or conduct ourselves. Now, here's an important distinction to remember. Events themselves are neutral. They are neither bad nor good. In fact, it's our thoughts that make them appear to be positive or negative. For example, a swimming pool might be seen as fun or dangerous, leading to very different feelings and behaviors. There is an old legend about the farmer whose son broke his leg falling off a horse. The villagers said, "I am so sorry for this unfortunate accident." But the farmer said, "It may be good, or it may be bad. We don't know." Days later, when all of the young men in the village were drafted into an unexpected war, his son was spared. None of the village's young men returned. So was that broken leg really unfortunate? This brings us to the cognitive triangle. Because these elements are linked, changing one allows you to influence the others. You can examine your thoughts, acknowledge your feelings, and consciously choose your behavior. We'll talk more about this in a bit. We have two systems of thinking. System 1, or the autopilot, is fast, intuitive, and emotional. John Michael often refers to this as the left brain, or the survival brain. It's designed for survival, which was useful for ancient threats, but can cause a mismatch with modern life. This survival instinct is largely controlled by the amygdala. System 2 is the intentional system. John Michael frequently refers to this as the right brain or the knowing brain. It is conscious, reasoning, and mindful. It acts as the brakes for the autopilot, though it requires effort and energy to engage. This function is largely controlled by the prefrontal cortex. While the autopilot system is fast and effortless, it is prone to errors. The intentional system, while draining more mental energy, is essential for logic, learning, and catching those autopilot mistakes. A common issue is treating daily stressors like life or death situations. This happens when our autopilot interprets modern stress, like traffic, as an immediate threat, triggering unnecessary anxiety. We get stuck in this hyper-vigilant and stressed-out mode, which results in elevated cortisol that impacts our physical health as well as our mental health. Automatic thoughts can be neutral, positive, or negative. It is important to remember that negative automatic thoughts often fuel emotional distress. You can break this cycle by pausing and reflecting. Pausing before reacting is a good strategy, even when you perceive something as being positive. Start by identifying the emotion. Take a breath, slow down to hit the brakes on your reaction, and listen to your self-talk. Challenge your thoughts by asking if they are realistic, if they are exaggerated by the past, or what the actual evidence is. This helps you move from raw feeling to logical thinking. You're training your mind to shift from the thinking brain to the rational, knowing brain. Consider a dark house. Your reaction depends on your interpretation. If you think something is wrong, you feel panic. If you think it's a surprise, you feel calm. If you smell something foul, you might panic and think there's a gas leak. But if you remain calm, you might remember that your English bulldog probably just farted by the door. The interpretation you bring to the situation dictates the emotion. Small changes can have a big impact. When you shift your thoughts, even just a little, you influence your emotions and regain your ability to choose your response. For Week B practice, try to notice one autopilot reaction. Stop. Take a breath. Pause. And ask yourself if that thought is 100% true. And don't forget that you have access to John Michael's 90-day recovery reset coaching package, available at www.inneralchemy.online. We'll see you next module.